a lot going on in college football, obviously, over this whole Lane Kiffin thing. Let's talk about some other coaches real quick, and I just want to just play a game, good or bad.
You love games.
Sumrall to Florida, good or bad?
I mean, for Sumrall, it's great.
Right.
You know, I mean, he got a contract that I'm sure it's 5-7 times more than he was making where he was at. You know, I think Florida has the resources to win. They want to win. You know, I think it's a great move for him and his family, and I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, the one thing you got to always judge coaches on is, do they win? And he's won at multiple destinations. And, you know, like, I know it wasn't the flashy hire that Florida wanted. They wanted Lane. Everybody knows they wanted Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
But I think this is a very solid hire for Florida. I think he's going to do a really good job in stabilizing that program. And he's a proven winner. You want guys that are proven winners, and he's a winner. So I think it's a good move.
No doubt. That's Siski, who just on. They're best friends. They grew up together. They've coached together everywhere. So that he thinks he's the next best thing. I know Urban's super high on him as well. So it looks like a good thing. For the university, good or bad, Michigan State, Coach Fitzgerald. They just let Jonathan Smith go, Chev. It was a friend of ours who's Glendora High School guy, and I've known him for a long, long time. It's crazy how the business is now, Chev. So the guy gets let go last minute to the public anyway. Probably was in the discussions. But then Fitzgerald's hired already, like, boom. Like, that's, to me, that's the part I just like, God damn. If you guys wanted a guy already, just tell me 2 weeks ago.
Well, I think they were waiting. You know, once they found out that Fitzgerald's lawsuit got dismissed and that he basically was proven right in the whole thing, I think that he became a hot name in the market. And, you know, I think when Jonathan Smith made the move from Oregon State to Michigan State a couple of years ago, I was surprised. I didn't think it was a great fit. I didn't think it was a great fit for Coach Smith. I didn't think it was a great fit for Michigan State. I thought it was always an odd thing when he went there.
Me too.
And so I wasn't surprised when they weren't winning that they were quick to move on. You know, and they're going to pay him a lot of money, obviously, to go away. But, you know, I know Coach Fitzgerald's a proven Big Ten coach. He's won with less. You know, when you're at a program like Northwestern, it's more of an academia school. And, you know, so you got to do more with less as far as the recruiting aspect of it, because there's different qualifications to get in those kind of schools. I think it's I don't know if it's been official. They named it official yet? Has Fitzgerald been hired?
From what I've heard, I think they're officially making it happen today.
That they're working on a deal.
Yeah.
I think if they get Coach Fitzgerald, it's a really good fit because he knows the Big Ten landscape. He's coached in the Big Ten for a lot of years. He's been very successful in the Big Ten. So I think if Michigan State lands him, I think it's a great fit for both parties.
Alex Golesh, I've known a long time as well. Seen his rise in the business. Auburn, good or bad for Auburn?
I mean, Auburn's been such a weird dynamic, though. I mean, the last 4 coaches that have gone there have gotten fired, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm right. I think it's 4. I don't know the last coach that left there on good terms, you know. And so I think what Alex was doing at South Florida was good stuff, man. I think he was putting himself in position to pick the job that he wanted. Now don't get me wrong. Is Auburn a great job? It should be.
Should be.
But why have they struggled so much? You know, there's always stuff going on about the head coaches and their background and all this stuff, and they're trying to get them out of there, talking about their off the field stuff. I mean, let's keep the main thing. Let's talk about football. You know what I mean? Let's talk about football. And so, you know, I'm interested to see how that goes, JB, because it just, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I don't think it's a home run hire, but I think Alex is a good coach. I mean, I don't know Alex, but following him from afar, I mean, whenever coaches have success, they're doing something right. And so
I know Alex. I know from inside guys like Siski and other guys that was Ole Miss's target when they knew the wheels were falling off, because they wanted an offensive guy to come in and replace an offensive guy. But they're actually happy now with Golding, who's a recruiter and kind of the glue to the program there at Ole Miss. And he told them, "Hey, I'm staying, and I'll share some things off the show with you that you'll like. You're gonna trip on." So he was, but they went after Alex late because Alex was gonna, you know, Arkansas, and then the Ole Miss thing happened. So it's very interesting. But Sumrall wanted Ole Miss, even though Sumrall's wife went to Auburn, and Sumrall, because that's Siski's boy, he wanted Ole Miss job. That was like his dream job, but he had to make a decision because Florida was like, you need to make a decision tonight. We don't have time.
Right.
So Sumrall took Florida. So Sumrall wanted Ole Miss though. So it was it's interesting how this all happened because of one person, which was Lane holding this whole thing up. And it's very interesting. Satterfield leaves Memphis, drives 2 hours over to Little Rock, basically, and is going to take Arkansas job. Good or bad?
I mean, to me, I think Arkansas, I think they were going after some other targets, and then they missed on those targets. And so it kind of came down to getting him the job. I think he's done an unbelievable job in Memphis. Obviously, they didn't finish great this year, but he's a proven winner. The thing about Arkansas, again, the conference you're in and the SEC, are you going to give him the resources he needs in NIL, give him the resources he needs in roster retention? Because you got to be able not only to sign top players, but then you got to retain them and be able to sign them to deals that are going to keep them there long term. And to me, like we talked about before, I think Eric Moore's taking the Oklahoma State job was the right move for Eric, because in the Big 12, I truly believe that you can win sooner than you can in the SEC, because I think Arkansas, I'm not saying it's a great hire, but what I'm saying is that he's got his work cut out for him, because to me, the pecking order, I mean, LSU's at the top of the food chain. Yeah. And then you're talking about the Ole Misses of the world and the Alabamas of the world. And you're talking about Auburns of the world. I mean, there is some heavy hitters in that conference that when you're talking about recruiting, those kids are going to go to those schools before they come to Fayetteville. And 100%. I think Arkansas is a great school. They got great facilities, I think. But again, you got to remember the conference you're in. If you're not going to play that game at the highest level and put together $25 to $30 million a year in roster retention for your NIL, you don't have a chance in that conference.
It's crazy to me.
In the Big 12, you do.
Do you feel like the breath was let out? Like they couldn't get Lane, and they couldn't get these other names that were maybe bigger name guys at these other places. I mean, like Arkansas, Florida. It seems like they had to make a decision to make a move after the Lane thing, and then after the next big thing they couldn't get. It seems like Arkansas.
Yeah, I agree with you, JB. I agree with you. I don't think he was top 4 on the board.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it worked out for Ryan and his family, and he'll do a great job. Listen, I mean, he did a great job in Memphis, man, and he's a proven winner. It's not the flashy hire.
So did Mike.
Sometimes not the flashy hire is the best hire, because they just grind and work.
Look what Norvell did in Memphis too. And then he goes to Florida State and has, besides the 1 year that kind of they got fucked on the NCAA turn, the playoff. Yeah. He hasn't done anything, and he was at Memphis, and big fish eat little fish, Chev. You know that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Norvell had two good years at Florida State, and obviously the wheels have fallen off a little bit. And they're going to bring him back, and I'm sure Gus was trying to get the Arkansas job bad, and if Florida State probably would have played a little bit better, he probably gets that job, because Gus is a proven guy, and he's won at different places. But again, he was a guy that Auburn moved on from. So. They're definitely I think everybody was waiting on to see what Lane was going to do. And, LSU probably said, hey, look, you got to either do this or we're going to move on too, because it's all based off the recruiting calendar, and it's not fair to the kids. Like, I think there's a problem in college football when a team like Ole Miss, who's 11-1, is in position to make a run for the national title. And now you lose your head coach and play caller before you even get to the playoffs, man. It's ridiculous.
To your point, no doubt. To your point about Arkansas, like taking Satterfield, Coach Womack is. He's at Bama.
Yeah, he's a DC.
Do you know he was he had the job offer, and they won to go to the SEC championship against Georgia this weekend, and he pulled his name out and said, "I'm going to stay here at Bama and finish what we started here." That's how, to me, like, you were taking a DC from a place like Bama because of the prestige over a sitting head coach at Memphis. Like, think about it, Smitty. Like, what Chef said is like, you just, like, to me, it's like, oh, you took him up. It just took anybody. Satterfield's a good coach. Not anybody, but I'm saying like
no,
he wasn't even on your board.
He wasn't their main person they wanted. Like their first 3-4 options they couldn't get for whatever reason. So they said, all right,
they were kind of the left man. They were kind of left at the table. Like, okay, we got to hire someone. You know, Womack was the head coach at South Alabama. We played him when I was at UCLA. He's a good coach. And he knows what he's doing. And maybe they wanted him to come right now. And he said, I can't. I'm going to finish this thing with Alabama. Who knows what went on the phones with the agents. But I guarantee you, like, you know, I think Arkansas, you know, they're on like their 4th or 5th option. But for Ryan and his family, it's probably a great move for him to go there because it's obviously going to be a huge step up in pay, too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Silverfield's a good coach, man. I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to say he's not a good coach. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a good coach at all. Hey, why is Penn State the stepsister in this whole thing? Like, what's happened? Because I got to see some crazy text messages over the weekend with AJ and kids and stuff like that. But certain NFL guys are not even entertaining it, but we're entertaining other jobs in the South. Let's just say that. Is it strictly because right now with the pay to play the way it is, you rather go south in warmer weather than deal with the north and have to deal with the same players that I could pay to go down to an Ole Miss, for instance, or a Arkansas or a South Florida even? Like, that's crazy to me from the text I've seen, Chev, that South Florida is a hotter destination right now than fucking Penn State. You really think that's a thing?
No, I don't. I mean, because Ohio State plays in cold weather too, and so does Michigan and everybody else. Right. I don't know why Penn State has put themselves in this situation. I think Penn State's a top 5 job nationally. You know, I think in the cycle before LSU became open, I thought Penn State was the top one, and then when LSU came open, I thought it was LSU, Penn State, then Florida. To me, I think Penn State is a blue blood program that probably now they're kind of sitting at the dinner table, and there's not a lot of people left at the dinner table. That's the issue that they kind of ran into. I don't know what's going on in their search. I have no idea how their search went. I don't know if they're using a search committee or a firm or if it's coming from the president and the chancellor. I have no idea what's going on in their search. But to me, I think maybe they were trying to go after some guys that they didn't get, or they waited too long to make the offer to, and then guys took the jobs that were open. But I mean, now who gets that job, JB? I have no idea who gets that job right now. All the guys that they wanted, the guys like the Elkos of the world and the Drinkowitzes of the world, they all like re-signed. They all re-upped at their programs. So
Clark Lee and Drink, for them to stay, and I get Clark Lee is an alum at Vandy, but for them to stay, it's kind of like to AJ's point over the weekend, like that tells you something about the landscape.
Or maybe they were dragging their feet too. Like those guys are already winning where they're at, and when their administration is saying, "Hey, look, we're going to give you a new deal. We're going to up your pay $2 million, give you more money for your assistants, give you more money for your NIL," and you already have that in your hand, and Penn State's waiting to make an offer. They probably haven't made an offer yet. But just because the job is open, that's how you create leverage in the deal. You know what I mean? So now I saw that what's his name over at Tennessee, Heupel's going to possibly interview for it. But to me, I don't think that's a better job than Tennessee. To me, Tennessee's a blue blood. Tennessee's got plenty of money. Tennessee's won national championships. So
the only thing that screams out to me when I hear that, or even I'm hearing that I have heard, and I should have asked Siski to verify it because he would have on the show. But like DeBoer and Penn State, it was a serious thing,
and maybe that still's going on.
That's crazy. Like
maybe that's still going on.
And for the people like AJ and shit like that, they're not happy because then you were never mentioned to be our coach. Because if it's too much pressure here at Bama, you should have never took the job. Because you don't leave Bama for Penn State, Smitty. Let's be real here.
I hope that's fake. I hope that ain't some real.
Well, it's not fake. I'm not saying it's real that it's happening, but I'm just telling you it's not a fake situation at all. It's not fake. So it's crazy right now. It's crazy. But